Hello students, today we are working on Word Module 10, Project 1, Santa Fe Film Office Creating an Online Form. As always, make sure you are going through the Canvas course, clicking that link so it directs you into the Cengage Learning Center. Click on Start, and then we will download our files. All you need to do is pull up your start file. I will have the instructions up on my second screen. So once you have that and it's pulled up, make sure that you go in and you save it correctly by backing off of that 1 at the end of the title and changing it to a 2. Okay, so this is our start file here. And make sure you remember where you're saving. I'm going to put that in as a 2 on my desktop. And now we are ready to begin. Okay, so project step number 1. You are an administrative assistant at the Santa Fe Film Office, an agency for the city of Santa Fe that grants permits for filming within the city. You are developing a form to send to film producers via email and plan to ask them to fill in the form and then return it to you the same way. So our first step is we need to change the paper size to a custom size with a width of 8.2 inches and a height of 5.8 inches so that others do not need to scroll when completing the form online. So we're going to come up under Layout, then go over to Size, come all the way down to More Paper Sizes, and then this is where we are going to change our width and our height. So our width is 8.2, and our height is 5.8. Click OK, and then you'll see that your form has changed in size. Project step number 2. Now we need to change the page color to gold with an accent 6 letter 40% and then apply the divot pattern to make the form more attractive. So we are going to come up under Design. We want to come over to Page Color, and then we're going to select that color, which is the gold accent 6 lighter 40%. So it is the 4th one down in the last column. Now we need to change the form to apply the divot pattern. So we're going to go back up under Page Color. We want to come down to Fill Effects. And then we want to come under Pattern. And clicking on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the very first row, the 7th one over, and then you'll see Divot, and then click OK. Go ahead and hit Save if you haven't already. Project step number 3. We need to insert the clapperboard icon shown in the figure 1, which is found in your directions, to add visual interest to the form. Then we need to position the icon in the top right corner with the square text wrapping and then apply the Color Fill Accent 4 Dark 1 Outline Graphic style to the icon. So we need to come up to Insert. Then we're going to go to Icons, and that looks like a duck with a leaf beside it. And now we need to find Arts. So you might have to scroll over. So my Arts is right there, but you might need to hit these arrows to search, but mine is right there on the front. And I need to click the clapper, which is right there. And now we're going to insert it. Now we want to make sure that we have our icon selected. And then we want to go to the graphics formats. And we want to come over to position. And this is where we are going to move it to the top right square text wrapping. And then you'll see that it moves to the upper right-hand corner. Now we need to change that color. So to do that, we need to come up under graphic styles here. And then we want to click on our arrow here. And we want accent 4, dark 1 outline. So then your clapper will turn red. Go ahead and hit save. Project step number 4. So we are now working down here in the first cell of row 1. We need to insert a plain text content control after the project title. So we are working right in here, project title. So place your cursor in there. We need to format the new content control using the subtle emphasis style and then lock the content control so that it cannot be deleted. So then in design mode, we need to edit the placeholder text so that it appears to read, click to type the project title. So to do all of this, first thing that we need to do is we need to add this tab right here, this developer tab. So right now you probably do not have it. So to do that, we need to come over to File, come all the way down to Options at the bottom. You'll have this box that shows up, and then you want to click on Customize Ribbon. And over here on the right-hand side, you'll see Developer. It's probably the only box that is not checked. So go ahead and check mark the Developer and click OK, and then Developer tab should show at the top. So now we need to work inside the Developer tab, so make sure that that is selected. So you see we have a different set of tools to select from. So we want to come down to the Controls ribbon. We're going to be working in this for the entirety of this assignment. So we want to click on the plain text content control. That's the rich, so it's the second one over, is the plain context control. So click on that. So now we want to come over to design mode. This gives us the option to make changes. So now we need to type in, click to type the project title. We do need to delete what is inside here. If we do not delete it, we will end up just moving it along on the line. So let's type in, click to type the project title with a period. So there's going to be a capital C, click to type the project title with a period at the end. Now we need to come up under properties. And then you will have this content control properties box open up. We want to click under use a style to format text typed into the NC control. So we want to click that and we want to use that. And then style under here, we need to find subtle emphasis, which is right here. And then we need to lock our content control so that it cannot be deleted. Once you have that, click OK, and then turn off design mode, and then click Save. Okay, on to project step number 5. So now we are working in the first cell of row 3, which is right here. We need to insert a checkbox content control to the left of the space. Then we need to change the properties of the checkbox to use TV as the tag and to display no border around the checkbox. After the space, enter TV as the label for the checkbox. So we're up here under our controls ribbon. We're going to click right here, make sure that we are in our row. Click checkbox, so you have your checkbox there. Then we need to come over to properties. And then in the tag, we're going to type in TV, capital T, capital V. Then we want to show as none. And then we will click OK. Okay, now we need to come up to design mode. We want to make sure that our cursor is on the outside of this box. We want to put in a space and then type in TV. Once you have that, you can turn off design mode and then hit save. Project step number 6. After the text, other please describe. So we're right here on this line now, which is in row 4. We need to insert a rich text content control. And then in design mode, we need to edit the placeholder text so that it appears as follows. So we are going to type in click to describe your project type. So we need to come up and select our rich text content control, which is under our controls ribbon. And it is the first choice. So you'll have this box that pops in. So now we're going to enter design mode so that we can edit our text. And if it's highlighted, you should be able to just start typing, which you can. So click to describe your project type with a period, capital C for click, and then all lowercase to describe your project type. And then leave design mode turned on. Go ahead and hit save if you have not done so. Okay, so I said to leave design mode on. So this is what we are going to do for this step in order for it to be correct through Cengage. I'm not sure why, but this is what we are going to do. So you need to turn design mode off. Click outside of your click to describe your project type. You need to put your cursor in front of the C. You need a backspace and then put a space in there and then save. If you do not do that, Cengage is going to mark it incorrect, or it does so on my end. So if you do not do that step and you just go on to the next step without doing that, it may or may not be correct on your end. So that's just something that I've noticed that I need to do to troubleshoot and ensure that Cengage marks that correct. All right, so we are now on project step number 7. So we need to work in after the text, city services requested. So that is right underneath. We need to come back up and turn on design mode. We need to insert a drop-down list content control. In design mode, we're going to use click to select a service as the placeholder text. And we do not want to allow the drop-down list content to be edited. And then we need to remove the choose an item entry. And then we're going to add in 3 choices from the instructions. All right, so we're going to come up under here under our control ribbon. We need to select drop down list content control. And then you'll see that that will populate in there. Now we need to type in, let's remove this information that is in there, and we need to type in click to select a service with a period at the end. And now we need to come up to properties. And this is where we are going to make some changes here. So we do not want our content to be edited. So we're going to go under locking and then we're going to click there. We need to remove choose an item. So choose that, click on it, so it's highlighted, and then hit remove. Now we're going to add in the information from our instructions. So we are going to type in display name, and we are going to type in close streets. So capital C for close and then streets. Click OK. Then we're going to add restrict parking. And that first word is capitalized, second word is lowercase. Then click OK. And then we are going to add none for our third choice. Click OK. And then click OK again. Then make sure you go up and you hit save. Okay, so just like you did above, for whatever reason, you need to come out of design mode. So right now, this is what you have. You need to come out of design mode. You need to make sure that your cursor is in front of that C. Hit backspace and then a space and then save. For whatever reason, that is what Cengage wants in order to mark it correct. All right, so we are now on to project step number 8. And I will let you know if we need to do that again to get out of design mode, back that space off, and then add the space back in for Cengage to mark it correct. All right, so we are in Special Effects Plan. We're down here on this line now. We need to insert another drop-down list content control. So we need to come back up. We need to make sure that we are in design mode. And we need to use click to select a special effect as the placeholder text. And then we do not want to allow the drop-down list content to be edited. And then we need to remove the choose an item entry. And then we are going to enter in information found in the instruction. So make sure that you do go back up and you turn on design mode to where you get these little characters here. And then we want to come over to another drop-down list. And then inside of here, we are then going to type in click to select a special effect with a period and then a capital C. When you have that, we're going to come up under properties. And again, we want to lock the contents cannot be edited. Click on choose an item, remove that, and now we are going to add in the following. The first one is fire with a capital F. The second one is rain with a capital R. Then we need to add in snow with a capital S. And finally, we need to add in wind with a capital W. Once you have that, click OK, come up and hit save. And then I will let you know if this works. I did do this a little bit differently. I didn't delete this all of this. I only deleted from here over what was in here before, and I left the period. So I'm kind of curious to see what happens. Okay, so that did not work. So we're going to have to click on design mode to get rid of design. Click outside, then click in front of that C, backspace, and then hit space, and then save. Okay, and as always, that did work by taking out that space and then putting it back in. All right, so we are now on project step number 9. After the text project start date, so we're on this very last line, we need to insert a date picker content control. Then we will select the date format similar to, it will be the day, the month, and then the year. And then in design mode, we need to edit the placeholder text so it appears as follows, which will be click to enter the start date. So we need to come up here, turn back on design mode. And then we want to choose our date picker content control. And then inside of here, we want to type in click to enter the start date. So I'm going to take out this middle part. Click to enter the start date. All right, and then once you have that in there, now we need to go up to properties. And we are going to go under locking. And we want to choose contents cannot be edited. And then we need to find where it is the day first, and then the month, and then the year. So mine is 9 October 25. And then we want to make that choice and then select OK. And then go up and save it. And I'm going to see if maybe that does anything there and if it's counted correct or not. Okay, so that also came up incorrect. So let's get out of design mode, click outside, and then put your cursor in front of that C, backspace, and then space, and then hit save. Okay, I just checked that, and it does come up correct once we take out that space and then put it back in. All right, project step number 10. We need to remove all the borders from the table so that the top part of the form blends in with the bottom part of the form. What we need to do is we need to highlight our entire table, all 4 rows, and then we want to come up to table design, and then where it has border styles, we want to choose no border. I'm sorry, over here, borders. And then we want to select no border. Go ahead and hit save. Project step number 11. Now we need to draw a rectangle. A single corner snipped around the content in the document, and then change the height of the rectangle to 2.7 inches and the width to 7.8 inches. Then we will move that rectangle so that its top and bottom edges encompass the table, the content controls, and the last paragraph. Then we will align the rectangle to the center of the page. Then we're going to give it a colored outline, gold accent 6 shape style to the rectangle, and then apply an offset left outer shadow to the rectangle. Then we will send the rectangle behind the text. So we need to put our cursor in front of office. And then we need to type in, we need to select insert, and then we need to choose that shape, which is the rectangle with that single snipped corner. So come over to our shapes and then find that rectangle with the single snipped corner right there. So we're going to click, and then we are just going to draw that right there. Then we're going to come up over here, and then we are going to put in our height, which is 2.7. And then our width is 7.8. Hit enter. And now we can go ahead and we can take our box and then move it to where we want it to be. It's going to be right underneath. Please fill in the form, save it, and then email the form to that email address. So once we have that, we need to now align this. We're going to come up to align, and we want to align it to the center of the page. So align center. Now we need to change our shape outline. So go under shape style. And we want our colored outline gold accent 6. And then we need to put in our shadow. So we will go under our shape effects, go under shadow, and then offset left. Offset top right. Offset left is in the second row, third over. Now we need to send our shape behind the text. So coming under arrange, send backwards, and we want to send behind text. Once you have that, hit save. Okay, so we now need to, where we center aligned our box here or shape, we need to do a couple extra steps to make sure that it is 0.37 below our paragraph, which is right here. So to do that, we need to make sure that our shape is chosen. We want to make sure we are under shape format. We need to go under arrange group. which is right here. We want to go under position. And then we want to come all the way down to more layout options. And then we're going to get this box that pops up. So then we want to go under the layout box, which is under the position tab. And we want to go to vertical position, which is right here under vertical. Right now it has 0.22. So we need to change that to 0.37. And then we want to make sure it says below paragraph, then click OK, and then you see that it shifts. Go ahead and hit save. Project step number 12. So now we want to restrict editing in the document to allow users only to fill in forms and start enforcing protection without a password. We need to come over to File, Info, and then we're going to go here where it has Protect Document. And then we are going to select Restrict Editing. Then you're going to have this box that pops up over here. In the second heading here, Editing Restrictions, we want to put a check mark there, allow only this type of editing in the document. Then we want to change this to filling in forms. And then click down here where it has Yes, start enforcing protection. You have this box that pops up, and then click OK. Come on up and hit Save, and then we will see how we did. That is a 100 out of a 100. Again, make sure that for questions 5 through 9, you are removing the design mode feature. You are backing off a space and then adding that space back in. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out.